Hey, what's going on, Shaq News fans? It's very, very early on the second day of E3 here in the Shaq News booth. I'm Blake Morse, reviews editor for Shaq News. Today I'm joined by my illustrious co-host, Charles Singletary, our news editor. And we've got a very special guest here, Francesco from Square Enix.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about Just Cause 4, which is a game I'm really excited about. But before we get too in-depth into the chat, we're going to show you guys a quick trailer so you can see just what Just Cause 4 is about. So, gentlemen, if you don't mind, let's take it to the trailer. Ooh, yeah.
I was born to fight wars that no army could win. There was no fear, no failure. But the rules have changed. The enemy changed. And no one was ready for it.
The Black Hand. They are the world's most powerful private army. But even they should fear what they've created. This isn't a war, Rico. This is survival.
Does that happen a lot? What, me getting shot at? All the time.
Make no mistake, but a renaissance. Force my hand. Force my hand.
And we are back. That is it right there. Just Cause 4. Hallelujah. It is coming. That's about it. All right. See you later. No, I'm sure that trailer was enough to get you pumped for it, but we're going to get you even more pumped now. Francesco, man, you guys are doing, the Just Cause series has always just been about doing crazy stuff to me.
Yes.
But it seems like you're really trying to push the envelope even further here with Just Cause 4.
Definitely. So for Just Cause 4, imagine everything you could do in Just Cause 3, step it up by 1, 2, 3, 4 order of magnitude, and that's it.
Yeah, just crank it all the way up to 11. Come on.
Yeah, somebody wrote, Avalanche did not just turn up the dial to 11, they rewrote the dial. It was very flattering comment, but it kind of, I kind of get the gist of what we've been doing.
Nice, yeah. Now, if you haven't played the series, it's just always been about open world environments, and kind of you give people the tools to kind of get around however they please.
Yes, we've been one of the first open world, if not the first open world, where if you see it, you can reach it, kind of thing was true, right? That's always been true for us. Yeah. Then progressively moving forward, another thing has always been the truer and truer, which is if you poke it, it reacts. Right? It's kind of the essence of the sandbox. It's a sandbox that is entirely based on physics, and that's what it makes it so fun and intuitive, right? Because you don't have to explain anything to player. You know how gravity works, you know how physics works, and so you just have instant fun as soon as you begin to fiddle around.
Yeah. And even if you're not having fun, there's still a story too that you can progress through, and if that's more your style, like unlocking new things.
Yes, totally. And this time around, we've tried to step up things also when it comes to the narrative of the game. Previous games been more or less silly, if you want, under that regard, which is okay. It's totally okay. But we've heard some player, was kind of wishing for something more. Yeah. So we did things properly there too. We actually formed a new narrative team within the company. So we got a whole group of guys that are after the story this time. That goes a little bit deeper into who Rico is, is passed, and so on. So we are going to close some loose end that we opened when in Medici with the previous game, and and hopefully we'll get something interesting also for players that care a little bit more about the narrative.
Gotcha. So you're ramping things up pretty much all across the board in Just Cause 4. And speaking of physics, y'all have introduced something that makes things a little bit more complicated with, I guess, disastrous weather.
Yes, I wouldn't say complicated. I would say interesting.
Interesting. Well, complicated for the development team, man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely a super hard challenge. I can skip an occasion to say thank you to the team, everybody there, and the unbelievable effort that they've put into this project to make this vision come true.
Got it.
It really went beyond my wildest expectations, and the reactions we are seeing here. Oh my God! It's such a good energy.
Yeah, it's pretty mind blowing. We've seen the tornado, basically,
And the sandstorms.
and the sandstorms. Gotcha. Are there some that y'all are kind of keeping under wraps for now? Maybe some.
No, I can
additional
tell you
things?
about that. So let's start from Solis, from this world. Something that we wanted to nail from the very first moment that they approached Solis was variety. Okay, we want to have more discovery, more new things to see than we had in Just Cause 3.
Right.
Okay, so we got inspired by South America because it's one of the few places in the world where it makes sense to transition across so many different biomes. Right, so we're gonna have a rainforest, we're gonna have a desert, an alpine region, and the grasslands. And we got an extreme weather event associated to each biome. Okay,
Right.
we got 4 of these bad boys. One is the tornado, then you got the sandstorm, then you got blizzards, furious blizzards. I've lived like 4 years in Canada, and that's what inspired the country. And torrential rain with lightning in the rainforest. Now, each and every one of these events is based on physics, is physicalized. So the tornado that you've seen is not just a set piece. It's actual physics that tears destruction through the world.
Understood.
It roams into the sandbox, so the open world. So this means that you don't need to subscribe to a mission to go and play with the tornado. No, it's there. You see it. You want to go there, have fun with it. That just goes. You can see it. You can reach it. You're there. You poke it. It reacts.
Yes.
Each event has its peculiarities that give you, opportunities to use it within the sandbox if you want to do so.
Okay.
So here's what I'm curious about. At any point in the game, are we going to be able to control? What are we going to be able to weaponize these new?
I was wondering the same.
Hazards, rather.
I can't say everything now. Right? I need to leave a little bit of, mystery across the game.
What I really want is I really want like a Point Break moment where like there's a tsunami wave that we can like go out and surf. I don't even know if surfing is in the game. I know you can kind of paraglide.
Surf on top of a car.
I got you. Actually, on our side, this is an hard moment because we are getting to close the game. The game is not done yet, but we are in that phase where you need to polish, optimize, etc., etc., etc. But it's also the moment where you see everything coming together, and as a game director, I just want to have more, like tsunamis, earthquake, and so on. Thanks God we got producers who stop me.
Because the game's got to come out at some point, right?
Yeah,
you gotta say, all right,
exactly.
Let's just stop here. But I mean, I guess that's what DLC is for nowadays too, right?
Yeah, you always, games have changed under that regard. The moment that you finish developing the game is no more the moment that the game is the shelves. The game is the shelves. You look at players' reactions, and then you continue to care about it and release content.
Yeah. Now, one thing that I've always been curious about. This seems like a fun game to play with your friends. Is there going to be any sort of drop in, drop out co-op mode or anything like that this time around?
No, not this time around. We really wanted and needed to focus on single player.
Nice.
We wanted to make it great. Another thing that weighted in here is that the game is based on a new engine. It's not the same engine as Just Cause 3. It's called the Apex engine. Having a new engine was a choice that we took at a company level to improve the soundness, the technical soundness of our game on day zero when they hit the market. So new engine, a lot of new power, new toys to play with, and we decided to really go deep
Just really
into
go for
single
that
player.
single player.
Yes.
Nice.
Got it.
Yes.
Especially when you're like also focusing more on story and things like that. Just made a little more sense.
And also when you have so much destruction going around, wonders as tornado and
Right.
so on. So let's keep it single player for now. I don't exclude that in the future we're going multiplayer too, but
But let's just
Yeah,
let's not worry
yeah.
about it. Let's not
Yeah,
worry
this is
about
a
what.
lot to do.
Let's
I
talk
mean-
about what is in the game.
Yes.
Let's not talk about what it isn't. So
So going back to the Apex engine, I understand that was a big part of being able to do the weather.
it was fundamental.
Right.
Yeah.
What are some other things that y'all are doing differently based on the new engine?
A lot. One of my favorite is the new destruction model. So if you guys are familiar with Just Cause 3, you know that you have these striped objects. We call them chaos objects, right?
yes.
It's this object where we put more love in terms of destruction and how they work. So in Just Cause 3, you shoot them and they start, they self-ignite a self-destruction sequence.
Right.
And you can just shoot and after 3-4 seconds the object destroys.
Right.
I'm gonna tell you a secret. That was not a creative choice. That was because of technical limitation. Because we couldn't have too many objects in a mid state of destruction in the world. We needed to despawn them to free memory and power for the player to do other stuff.
Right.
Because creatively, sincerely, I would prefer is say I shoot a fuel tank and then a tongue of fire comes out and propels it, and the tank
Yeah.
becomes a rocket, and then maybe I can surf it or do things with it. Well, that's
There's
what's,
your surfing.
that's
There's my
what's
surfing.
finally happening in Just Cause 4.
That's
nice.
awesome.
We
Rocket
pulled it off.
surfing. Okay.
Yeah,
That's a little
yeah,
bit better
I
than
mean-
just regular surfing. All right.
Yeah,
You
right,
win.
so-
Fair enough. Man, one of the most iconic things about the series to me has always been the grappling hook.
Yeah.
I love having stuff like that in games. Anything that gives me like verticality and a chance to kind of cross large gaps of land quickly, in a game like this is always welcome. Is there anything new for the grappling hook mechanics this time around?
Totally, yes,
Ah, yeah.
absolutely. So when we started doing the game, we took a lot in consideration the videos that people were producing by playing GC3, comments of players, desire, wish. And it was clear that the ability to retract objects together, it was kind of
Right.
a little
Oh,
thing,
yeah.
but was a feature that people used a lot.
The tethering
Yes.
system is like
It's
my
wonderful.
favorite.
Yeah. So we stepped that up. So not only now you can modify how the retract works and change a lot of parameters about that, but you have new attachments. You can attach boosters that send things flying around. You can attach airlifters that lift stuff, and you can mix and match all these different abilities to create your own concoctions. So I'm really, really curious to see what players do with it. We do actually have a stream that is going on where we are streaming some clips from YouTubers whom we have given the build in previews, and the things they are doing are already amazing.
Nice. Yeah. That's like that to me. Like the tethering system was one of those moments where like this is what the Just Cause series is all about. It's just all about like over the top action, like
Yeah.
nonstop. And it's nice that you guys are going in depth with the plot and everything, and it's great that there's always been a story to kind of tell. But it's also just fun to have this kind of world that you can just drop into and get away with all this stuff without having to grind in order to sort of unlock all the fun.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, I'm already plotting out like things I can tether together when a tornado is coming, like
Yes.
just to see it get snatched up, or maybe ride across something in the air.
I am going to tether myself to a propane tank and then ride it into a tornado. Because
You should
that-
use the fuel tank this time around,
All
the
right,
big
oh,
one.
the
big
bigger one, it's
Yes,
safer,
Yes,
right?
safer, exactly. And maybe you can attach airlifter to it and control how it goes up.
Oh
and
my
down,
god!
right there.
You can control.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah,
a-
totally.
a remote controlled exploding
Explosive
surf
fuel
propane
tank.
Man,
And that's just the beginning.
That's just one thing that you can do in this game.
Those are the basics.
Yeah, man. So, I mean, how many Just Cause games have you worked on now?
This is my second. I was lead designer on Just Cause 3.
Nice.
Yeah.
Just Cause 3 actually seemed to kind of bring the series back into the spotlight. Like, what do you think was like the big turnaround for the series in Just Cause 3? Like,
It came on a new generation, and then the other thing that's fundamental to Just Cause 3 is that the wingsuit, right? And if you ask me, I really think that also the retract and giving player control of it was a big thing. If you think about it, in Just Cause 1, the grappling hook was something that you had to equip, and once you had the grappling hook, you couldn't use weapon
other
anymore.
stuff.
Yeah,
Right,
exactly.
right, yeah.
So in Just Cause 2, the grappling hook become your signature tool for moving around the world. We put it on the arm so that you free the ends, and now you can use weapon and the grappling hook. And that was the moment where, Rico and the grappling hook are now inseparable. With Just Cause 3 and the retract, the grappling hook becomes also the tool that you use to interact with the physics in the world.
Right.
It was like, a shy step in seeing if a player really gonna use it. Will it be too complicated, too abstruse? Hey, player loved it. So with Just Cause 4, we stepped that up, and now you have really
Went all in.
a proper sandbox, toolbox on your arm.
Playground.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Man, so let's talk about this new world a little bit, this new environment. Like you kind of mentioned earlier, you picked this area of the world because it kind of has all of these different environments. But this is a completely like fabricated place, right? That we're going.
It's like all the other Just Causes. We create a fictional place that are grounded in reality. So they are plausible, okay? So it does not exist in real life, but it could.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. And much like that, there's also like this time around the story revolves around you're trying to overthrow a dictatorship, right?
It's a bit simplistic scene like that. Because,
well,
but we wanted to go a little. No,
obviously.
we're going a little bit beyond the cliche. So I can't talk too much about the story, otherwise my PR is coming and snatch me out of this
Gonna
booth.
climb right
But
over this
I can
wall.
tell you a couple of things. Solis is the place of birth of the Black Hand. The Black Hand were those mercenary soldiers that you've seen in Just Cause 3, 2, and 1. And we wanted to create an anchor to the previous game so that, hopefully even player who've played the previous Just Cause and don't care that much about the narrative may be intrigued to know a little bit more about the Black Hand itself. Yeah.
Nice. You're trying to kind of flesh out Rico's backstory more this time
Yes,
around?
yes.
Nice. Who is Rico to you?
Oh, that's what a question. It's, I kind of my digital twin, if you want, at this point. So, I see this guy on
I see the rugged resemblance, chiseled features.
I see this guy on screen like 8 10 hours a day, every day. Something fun. Recently I've begun climbing, and what changed in my life is that now when I go to sleep, very often I dream about flying with a wingsuit and a parachute. I'm probably working at that too much on this game.
After sitting in front of a computer and
Yes.
making a guy fly
Yes,
around,
yes.
somehow, who would have thought? That's okay. I used to have dreams about Puzzle Quest and stuff like that when I was addicted.
You
to
should
Puzzle
play a
Quest.
little bit more Just Cause then.
I should. Then I might be dreaming about flying instead of breaking like the same colored bubbles over and over again.
Yeah, my
That's-
dreams of gaming are nowhere near as exciting as both of you guys. I was just dreaming
What's
of
that?
Gran Turismo before I could drive.
Right, you're just like you're just like jumping on like Goombas and like throwing turtle shells. Man, so Just Cause 4. What do you want folks to take away from their experience when they finally get their hands on Just Cause 4? Is it just like you want to give people a good time, or are you trying to go a little bit deeper this time?
I would like to. I think the moment that we are successful is when I see people pulling off things with the sandbox that we didn't think about as a development team. So creativity, in one word. I think that actually even more than that, because not everybody wants to be a creative player.
Yeah.
Not everybody finds fun in the sandbox playground for the sake of the sandbox playground.
Right.
And the game has been built this time around, actually also the previous one sincerely, in a way that even if you don't like the type of approach, anyway, it's a nice game, it's unique and interesting to beat, okay? So if one of those player, I just want to beat the game, okay? If this player start to derail from their linear quest to get to the end, to just fuck around for 5 minutes with the physics into the world, there I can say yes, we made it.
Nice, yeah. Games like this, in Just Cause 4 in particular, always feels like kind of playing with Legos if Legos were destructive.
Yes.
You know, like
Yeah.
that's what's always been fun for me as far as the creative side goes.
Yes, it's a Lego for very grown-up people. That's how I like to say it.
Mature adults. This is
Yes.
this is an M-rated game,
Yes.
right?
Totally.
You know, so don't let your kids play destructive Legos. Essentially.
Gotcha.
Or-
So, if you can speak about it, I know you've given a few people the game to mess around with.
Yeah.
What's the most ridiculous thing you've seen so far?
We see many. Let me think. There is one that I love. This is simple. We've seen them building all sort of physics contraption, trying to pull stunt like there is an air cube. It makes me laugh a lot. It takes the airlifter to lift these big trucks and then have them fall onto the bridge, trying to smash the bridge. Okay,
Oh,
but
nice.
actually, one of the things that was so nice, he gets into this jungle village, then places airlifter on a fence and says, "Why? You can pack surprises into Just Cause." Then press the button, activates the airlift. The airlift rips all the fence, and you see the thing that is behind, like a sort of wrapping that you take away. That was very, very nice.
Nice. That's clever. That's crazy that you could do stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's gonna be some interesting videos popping up.
Yeah.
when
No, we
that
thought
goes live.
about it a lot. We want to make a game that is Twitch friendly, YouTube friendly, and I was telling you about the grappling hook and the fact that you can mix and match different abilities. Truth is that there are a zillion of combinations, and I would love to see player pull off stunts or whatever else. And other players being wondering, oh, what's the loadout of the grappling hook in this moment? How can I redo that?
Yeah, it's like I've seen a lot of footage of people like use the grappling hook to kind of accelerate themselves, then pull out the parachute,
Yes.
and then kind of use that to kind of boost their way across maps while gaining height, you
Yeah.
know, in order to
Yeah.
get around.
Yeah.
That seems to be the good way. What are like I think what I'm curious about is are there any sort of new environments in this game, like exotic tropical areas or anything?
Yeah,
like
but
that?
we have a rainforest, and
Nice.
that's a strong wink to both Just Cause 2 and Just Cause 1.
Okay.
Another cool thing about basing ourselves on South America is that you have these mysterious landmarks, like ruin inspired to Incan culture. So maybe there is something to discover there. We've got unique landmarks in the desert, like this giant crater, the canyon, and the grassland too. It's quite interesting because you think about grassland, you think about something flat. It's everything but flat, right? So another big consideration that goes into making the world is verticality. You were saying that before. I like to go up, to go down. So it's a world that it's full of difference in height. So you're gonna have this, high rises, plateaus, low rise, and so on.
Awesome. Well, when is Just Cause 4 coming out?
4th of December.
4th of December. All right. We don't have that much longer to wait. It's just in time for Christmas. Mom, Dad, if you're watching.
Please.
Where can people get more information on Just Cause 4?
We do have an E3 blowout. It's 3 days of streaming, info, and so on. So think on that, and yeah.
All right, cool.
Awesome.
Well, Francesco, thank you so much for stopping by. Guys, we're going to be right back with more interviews, more fun, and wacky, zany hijinks here at E3 Day 2. So stick around. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
All right. Dude, thank you so much.